Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel, A Resilient Life. I'm Ronnie. Did you know that if you get out of debt, you can become financially independent with a lot less money? If you get out of debt, you can actually retire or even retire early with a lot less money. Let's talk about that for a few minutes. Most of the retirement advice that I have been exposed to over the years says that you would need $1 or $2 million or more to be able to retire comfortably. And that money would have to be invested in such a way that the earnings are greater than the rate of inflation just to keep up. Now, I get it. That's solid advice. But for most people, those kind of figures are out of reach, simply because most people don't earn the kind of money that it takes to build up that kind of portfolio. And so we have to find another way. And I want to tell you that financial independence is still possible even if you don't have that kind of money. And here's how. Debt-free living. I mean getting completely out of debt and being 100% debt-free. No mortgage, no house payment, no car payment, no credit card payments, no student loans, no nothing. If you have no debt, you can be financially independent with a lot less money. If you have no debt, you can retire on a lot less money. If you have no debt, you have options. If you have no debt, you can live like a king comfortably on a lot less money. On the other hand, if a person reaches their 50s or their 60s and they're still carrying a mortgage or a heavy mortgage, a couple of car payments, and still carrying a balance on their credit cards, then yes, they're going to need a boatload of money or a large portfolio to be able to retire and to pay the bills all at the same time. Or they'll just have to keep working to the end. On the other hand, if you reach your 50s or 60s and you're mortgage free, then you're free. You're free from the bank. You're free from compulsion, you're free from having to work, and you're free to do whatever it is that you want to do. Let me tell you my story. I've been mortgage free for 15 years. I paid off our home when I was 51 years old. Wish I could have done it sooner, just wasn't in the cards. Did it as quickly as I could, but we've been mortgage free for 15 years. Now, was I able to do this because I made a whole lot of money in my salary? Or because I came into a windfall, or because I won the lottery, or I got an inheritance? Not hardly. It's because paying off our mortgage was my #1 financial goal in life. I focused 100% of my financial effort into paying off our home so that my wife and I would always have a place to live and never be homeless. I never took out a home equity loan to finance an extensive or exotic vacation. I never took out any HELOCs, which is a home equity line of credit. And I never refinanced our mortgage so that I could use the money to put a pool in the backyard. Now, what I did do was snowball all of my money into paying off the mortgage. And what a great day it was when we did. My wife and I both went down to the bank. We sat in the banker's office. I wrote out a personal check, paid, and when we walked out of the banker's office that day, we were mortgage free. And it's been 15 wonderful years of not being saddled or burdened with a mortgage. Another advantage that came to me as a result of paying off the mortgage was that I was able to accelerate my savings by redirecting those house payment amounts back into my own bank account rather than it going out to the man. Think about your own house payment for a moment. How much is it each month? Got it? Now multiply that by 15 years. You get the idea. For people like us, that's a small fortune. Now, I never worked for a Fortune 500 company. I didn't have a company-sponsored retirement plan that ensured that I would be taken care of in my later years. And so, like many of you, it was up to me. It was up to me to ensure that I had some kind of financial future. Now, of course, I've always saved. I have a couple of IRAs. I live a frugal life, but most of my effort in my 40s was directed into paying off the mortgage and becoming 100% debt-free. That is absolutely the best thing that I could do. Let me say it again. If you get out of debt, you can become financially independent with a lot less money and live comfortable and like a king. Now, getting out of debt is a doable plan for most people, and here's why. The average person will work for 40 years. Some people will work longer, which represents an enormous amount of money in the form of income over those 4 decades. If such a person begins to save early, any amount, and does so consistently their entire life, while at the same time minimizing debt and then ultimately paying off their debt, they'll eventually have wealth and financial independence. On the other hand, when you pledge most of your income out to someone else in the form of debt, you slow down your ability to build wealth. And if you're carrying debt for all of those 40 years of your working life, you can never build wealth. Not to mention the added stress of what 40 years of living under the burden of debt brings into your life. It's a very simple equation. Zero debt leads you into wealth faster than anything else that you can do with your money. Now, I know people who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but most of their money is being used to underwrite an expensive lifestyle. And they're up to their eyeballs in debt, and they're strapped for cash. They still have to get up early every morning and go to a high-pressure job or a job they don't like. They have to worry about their investors, a board of directors, employee problems, customer problems, or a boss that's a jerk. They work their fingers to the bone, and they can never get off the hamster wheel because they're spread too thin. Despite their high income, they're still living paycheck to paycheck. I wouldn't trade places with them for anything. Would you? Now, I'm not making their kind of money, but I don't have their kind of pressure either. I'm no longer on their hamster wheel. I haven't been for 15 years, although I did work during that time. I wake up whenever I want, I eat whenever I want, I do whatever I want. I don't have to associate with anyone that I don't want to associate with. I can afford whatever I want. And if I ever decide to go back to work again, it'll be on my terms, not because I have to make a payment to the bank. And if I ever have to go back to work, it's going to be something fun. Maybe I'll become a fitness trainer. Or maybe I'll become a dance instructor. You get the idea. When you're debt-free, you've got options. If you stay in debt your entire life or your entire working life, you can't build wealth or financial independence. It mathematically ensures that you'll not be financially independent because debt, it takes all of your money. Even if you're earning $200,000 a year, if you're drowning in payments, you still live paycheck to paycheck. If you got sick or lost your job, you could lose everything that you've got. When you're up to your eyeballs in debt, there can't even be a ripple on the surface or you'll go under. The risk just isn't worth it. Whether you're a high income earner or a middle income earner or a low income earner, minimizing debt and or getting out of debt altogether should still be our highest priority. It gives you autonomy, independence, and options. Well, that's all for now. Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to know exactly how I paid down my mortgage and all of my debt, I'll share that in an upcoming video, so be sure to come back soon. If you enjoyed this video today, leave me a comment below. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts and opinions are about how debt affects you or how you got out. Other people are interested in your comments and they'll read what you've got to say, and so will I. If you like this channel, hit the thumbs up button. Feel free to subscribe. Take care, and we'll see you next time.